Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having an awesome day. Y'all, let's do something fabulous. Stay tuned. So today we are going to do something a little bit different, and before we get started, my hands look a hot mess because I have been gluing and painting all day long. I have been making items for my own home, fall decor items that I'll be using in my home. So I thought, why not just turn it into a video? This is going to be very different from what I normally do on the channel, but I thought, I'll bring you guys along to show you the things that I do to decorate my own home as we go into the fall and Christmas season. Now, I'm not going to take you into my home because I promised Mike I'd keep that separation, but I will show you some of the things that I will make for my home and walk you through tutorials on all of these things. And today we are going to make 3 awesome projects, and they are all Dollar Tree projects. So yes, I went to the Dollar Tree, but if you have a discount store, you can probably find similar items and keep your costs down on making them just as I have. But I am so proud of the things that I made. So each item that I am going to walk you through the tutorial on cost me less than $10 to make. So I made 3 gorgeous home pieces for under $30. And in the store, you would pay $30 or more for this door wreath. But I made it, and it is going to go on my front door. And I also made one to go on the front door of my new studio, and I'm going to be making one to go on the front door of my backyard studio. So here is one of the projects that we're going to be making, this awesome wreath. And I'll bring in the second project that we're going to make, which is this fabulous little custom bench that I made using an item from the Dollar Tree. So I cut it, glued it, made it. From beginning to end, we are going to make this so that you can have this total look for $10 or less. And then we're going to close out today's multi-fall project with this awesome centerpiece for the table, for the desk, for the mantle, whatever you want for it to be. So I am just going to sit this up here so that y'all can have a look at all of this goodness that we are about to make. Now this video is going to be a little bit longer than what you guys are used to seeing from me, and I hope that you'll either A, watch it all at one time, or come back to check out the pieces that you might be interested in making right now. And I would love it if you would leave me a comment below letting me know if this is something that you would like to see more of from me. I do mostly paper crafting with you guys, but I do a lot of things like this seasonally for my home. And if you would like to see me do more of these type projects to show you how to make things like this from beginning to end, not just boxes, bags, and other things, but things like this. If you're interested in seeing more of these, leave me a comment below and let me know. So thank you in advance for watching this video. Thank you so much for your support of my channel, and let's get started. All right, guys, so we are going to start by making this really beautiful Autumn Wreath. And when I tell you this, it is gorgeous in person. You are going to have so much fun making it, and you're going to make it for under $10. So here's what you're going to need. I have one of the Dollar Tree signs that has the sections on it, and I'm going to break off the family section. So basically it's going to cost me 33 cents for this portion of the sign. And then I have a Dollar Tree wreath form, and this one measures 14 inches. Then I am going to be using 3 separate floral bundles from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to take one of these bows and place it on top. You get 2 at the Dollar Tree for $1, so I'll be adding 50 cents to this bow. Then I have these 2 little cuties here that I am going to use as just accent pieces on the project. And then I'll be using some twine that I get at the Dollar Tree. You can get 3 rolls of this for $1. So we are going to wrap our wonderful form in the twine, and I'll show you just how we do. So this is where we start the project. What I'm going to do to get started is I am going to take just a little bit of tape, and I'm not going to do this on the whole project, but I am going to take a little tape and place it on my form. And then when I lift the tape up, I'll have that. And now I can just bring in my twine, and I am going to start wrapping my twine around this form until I have a nice wrap that I like. The reason why I put the tape there is so that it can catch the very beginning of this, and I don't have to worry about my twine moving. And the twine that you get from the Dollar Tree is a very rough twine. You will have pieces sticking out, and that will only add to the charm of your project. So all we do is we just keep wrapping this around, and I'm going to keep mine pretty tight, and you can see how that's looking. So we can just wrap it around, keeping it pretty tight, and just keep doing it until you have as much of this covered and you have it as tight as you want. So I am going to keep wrapping this, and I'll wrap it until I'm all the way around. And I'm going to do this off camera because I'm sure that you guys don't want to watch me wrap this whole thing. So we're going to get this wrapped, and I will be right back. All right, guys, so we are getting down to the end of covering this form in twine. And it's actually taking me about 20 minutes to do all of this, which I think is pretty good. And I am going to show you guys just a little trick that I started doing midway through. So I took my twine and basically I created a very long piece, and I double looped it just like this. Then I'm going to take that loop and place it on the form and just pull that twine through. And you can see here where I have that loop, and I want the loop to be on the back of the form so that everything that shows in the front is nice and neat. So I'll just keep moving it until I have the loop where I want it, and then I can take my double strand of twine and wrap it around. And this helps me to cover the form much quicker than I would be able to if I was just doing a single strand wrap around. So all I'm doing is just wrapping it around, pulling it tight, and I'm pulling 2 strands at a time. And I am just wrapping, and we'll be able to close this in just a moment. All right, guys, so I am at the end of wrapping this. So I am going to wrap it just a couple of more times until I don't have any more string on the front. Then I'm going to flip this over, and the way that I'm going to close this is going to be very simple. I am simply going to take some hot glue place down a glob of hot glue, and then I'll take this, pull it very tight, and lay it in that hot glue until it sets up. Then I'll let it dry and snip off my ends. Now the back of your wreath won't be too pretty, but it's the front that we absolutely care about. And as you can see, all we need to do is go back and just kind of play around with the spacing until we have the coverage that we like. So now we have a covered form using Dollar Tree twine and a Dollar Tree wreath form. So now what I am going to do is I am going to bring in this piece right here, and I am just going to pop off what it is I want to use on this. And it really is very simple. You just have to grab it at the right spot and then just pop it off. And of course I'll be using all of this, so don't throw any of it away. Then you're going to find where you want to position this on your form and place it down with some glue. Okay guys, so what I have done is I have just removed a whole bunch of my flower petals. I have cut down my picks from my floral stem. I am just going to play around with placement and just kind of go with what I like. As I'm placing this, it might not be how you would place it, but it's all about personal preference. So if you decide to make it, then you can go back and just kind of place it however you want. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do to start out, I am just going to put some glue on the back of this piece, and then I'm going to take this piece and just place it right here until I can get it stuck. And so then the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to place my bow. So I want to go ahead and add some glue to this bow, and I'm going to lay it down on top of that bow. And then I'll come back after a while and just kind of fluff out these pieces here. So I've got that stuck there. So now I'm going to take the big bow and I'm placing some glue on the back of that. And then I want to take this bow and I'm just going to place it at an angle, just like that. And now I'm going to play around with these sunflowers and my picks. So I am going to place one right there and one right there. So I am going to pull out the stem portion of that, and I'm going to go ahead, place my glue, and get that stuck down right there. And again, it really is all about your personal preference on how you want yours to look. So I am going to take this sweet little mini scarecrow right here and put her down. So I am going to place glue all over her booty, and I am going to position her right there. And then I'm going to add some glue to the back of that ribbon and place the ribbon down to make sure that everything stays stuck. And boy, is that looking cute. So now I'll take one of these pieces and I'm going to tuck that right in there, and then I'm going to take this piece and tuck it right there. So I'm going to turn this around so I can do that from this angle. So I'm going to take my glue, place some glue on that, and then I'm just going to take it and tuck it in just like that. Then I'll take my other piece, place my glue, and I am just going to take that and just stick it in right in there. Make sure everything stays stuck. And I really don't like the length of the tail on the bow, so I'm just going to trim it. And I'll trim this one as well. And there, I like that better. I just didn't like that big loopy bow hanging down. So now I'm going to work on this end. So I am going to bring in my flowers, and then I'll also bring in this piece here, but I also want to add just a little bit of, I'm just going to call it crazy wildness to this side, and I want to do that using these foxtails from the Dollar Tree. So I am going to open these up, place them down, and I don't think that I want all of them. All right guys, so my wreath is looking really good. I want to make sure that I have a fullness on it and somewhat of an asymmetrical balance. And so what I'm going to do is, I was going to work with these foxtails, but I thought they were too dark. And I have these. So I am going to take these, and we are going to tuck those right underneath the bow, just like that. But I am going to tuck them using hot glue. So let me get some glue on the end. I'll lift up that bow to decide where I want to stick this, and I'll get it placed down, and then I can kind of play with the foxtails to figure out how I want them positioned on here. So I'm going to slide this up so that you guys can get a full view of what it is that I'm doing. So now I'm going to take this little cutie here, kind of open up her hat, and I'm going to just place, I'm squeezing in that booty because it's sticking out too much. That's something I know a little bit about. And I am just going to take this, and we're going to place her right there. Then I'm going to turn this around just a little bit because I want to get some glue behind her head, because I don't want her coming up at all. So I'm just going to hold this in place for just a minute, and I love how this is turning out. It's looking fabulous. So there we have this piece looking like this. We've got our little foxtails. I'm going to spread those out just a little bit so that you can see all of this wonderful goodness we have going on. And then I am going to take just a couple of my sunflowers, put them down here just to tie it in with the top. So I am going to take my glue, place it on the back, stick that down, and I'll place some glue on the back of this one, place that down. And now we have an awesome wreath for the front door, for the inside of your house, wherever you want to place it. Now I want to get something for right here. And so now guys, the last thing that I want to do to my wreath is I want to place just a little bit of hot glue on it. And we are able to make this wreath for under $10. So I'm going to open her head up just a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to place just a little bit of hot glue on this hat because I want it just to be up a little so that we can see her face. And so there we have it, guys. We have got this awesome autumn wreath ready to hang on the front door, inside of your home, over the fireplace, wherever you want to put it. And we made this using items from the Dollar Tree. You can find similar items, I'm sure, at a store that you visit that sells any type of holiday decor, but we were able to make this one for under $10. And we all know that if you go to the store looking for a wreath like this one or like this one, you are going to pay handsomely for the privilege of being able to buy that wreath. But you know what? You don't have to buy it because you can make it. And guys, isn't this just the cutest? I made it using one of the Dollar Tree boards, cut it down, and we turned it into just a little bench, and we popped it up with a whole autumn scene. And I just love how this turned out, and you are going to see just how easy it is to make this. This is really pretty large. It's 14 inches tall and almost 6 inches deep, so you can see you have a substantial piece to sit out as part of your autumn home decor. And here's what we're going to need to make it. I have one of the seasonal signs from Dollar Tree, and this one says welcome. Then I have a small bale of hay that they actually sell at the Dollar Tree. Then I have another one of those cute little mini fat round scarecrow people. Then I have a 3-pack of pumpkins. And then I have some greenery from the Dollar Tree, some leaves that we'll be using on this project. So as you can see, we have $5 worth of Dollar Tree items here. We're not going to use all of this. So we're actually going to make this project for under $5. So the first thing that I want to do, guys, is I want to go ahead and measure off 14 inches. So I am going to take my ruler, place it here, get my 12, and then I'll just place my finger, and it's going to be a rough 14. I'll slide it down, and then I can make a mark where the 2 is. So that 2 plus 12 gives me my 14. So then I'll come over to this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. So we're right there. Make my mark. And it's going to be pretty close. So now what I'm going to do, and this is probably the most time-consuming part, is I am not going to make very deep cuts. So what I'm actually going to do is just make a series of very gentle passes on this board. You don't want to put a lot of pressure because you'll end up hurting your finger. So gentle passes will do. And I will just keep cutting until I have a nice impression, and then I'll come back and I'll snap it free. So I can move my ruler now because I do have a groove, and I will just keep cutting through this, and it will work. Trust me, you can cut through this. And I'm just going to keep doing this. And I'll look at it on the side just to see how deep of an impression I've made. And I know that I can go just a little bit deeper on my cuts. And now I'm just going to take it to see if it's possible for me to bend it. And I can. I'm not snapping it in half. I'm just bending it. And I'll go on the inside and cut a couple more times when I'm able to snap it. And then I'll fold it all the way back and I can get a snap. So now I'll remove the excess. All right, so once we have the top half separated from the bottom, I have this part. I am going to use my ruler again, and how much you want to cut off here is totally up to you. I am going to do 5.5 inches. So I'll make my mark, and then I'll place my ruler again on this side, and I'll make my mark at 5.5, And I'll place my ruler down and go through the same process that I just went through to free up the top part. So I'll use my finger blade, get a series of passes going. Then I can remove my ruler and just go down in that groove and just keep cutting until I have this free. And then I'll snap it again, and this time it broke clean through, so that's a good thing. And then I'll just remove the excess here. And now that I have the excess removed, I have the pieces that I need to be able to build my little bench. And it's going to be very simple. So this is going to be the base, the seat. This will be the bottom. And the first thing that I'm going to do is glue these two pieces together. But if you have another way that you want to join yours, you know what? Go ahead, use your method, whatever works. The goal is to have a sweet little bench when you're done. So I'm being very generous with my glue. I'm going to take this piece and I'll line it up just like that, but I'm going to lay it on top and I'm going to hang over just a little bit. So I'm just going to hold this until it dries. So I'm just going to let that dry. So once that sets up, we are going to have our bench base. All right, guys, so once we have this section glued together, we're simply going to place glue along this end and we'll position it down. So I am going to take my glue and I am going to be very generous with the glue. It probably will run, but I want a very thick bead of glue on this, and I'm using hot glue. So now I'm going to stand this up and I'm simply going to position it. I'll just bring it back towards the board and I'm standing it up so that I can make sure that I have it as level as possible. And then I'll hold it until everything sets up. And I'm gonna make sure I just let this set up and dry. All right, guys, so once it's dry, you can see that we have a nice little bench, chair, whatever you want to call it, but it's cute. So I have two pieces of chipboard that I've doubled up, and they measure 3 by 5. And these are going to be stabilizer pieces that I'll put on the inside just to make sure I have a firmness to this chair. So I am going to add my glue to the 3 short ends only. Then I'm going to take this and just get it inserted. Try to get it straight. And then once I have it as straight as I can get it on that first try with that hot glue, I am just going to press everything nice and tight. I'm using my hands as like a clamp, and that's going to help to just firm up this beautiful little autumn bench that you've created as home decor. So now I can stand it up. I am going to use my scissors and just remove the hook because I don't need it. And then I'm just going to remove this piece because I don't need it. So you can see that we have another really sweet autumn bench. So now we need to decorate it. So I'm going to try to move this over here so it's not in the shadows. So I am going to take my bale of hay, and when I open this bale of hay, I'm going to open it over my garbage can because initially there will be a lot of flyaway pieces, and you want to make sure that you shake all of those off first. So there's my hay. I am going to use all 3 of these little pumpkins I'll be using this sweet little cutie here, and I am simply going to cut off her tag. And then I'm just going to cut off some of the leaves from this greenery vine here. And I'm just going to cut off a whole bunch right now. I might not use all of them, but I'm just going to cut them off. And what I like about these vines, you have all of the colors of autumn on the vine. Okay, so I think I have enough to start working with. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just kind of position some to see how I want to start. So I'm going to take my glue, place some glue on the back, and just kind of stick that down right there because I want some hanging over. And I'll take my glue and I want a little bit more hanging from the side. And then I'm definitely going to place some so that they're hanging over the front. And I'll be putting down my bale of hay in just a moment. But I want one just kind of raised up in the back there. So now I'm going to take my bale of hay and I'm going to position that hay just like that. So I am going to use my glue, placing a lot of glue on the hay. I probably could have sprayed the hay with a sealer to just kind of keep it from going everywhere, but you know what? This is straight up authentic. So now I'm going to take my pumpkins and I am going to place one pumpkin right there. Then I'm going to take a couple of my leaves and just place them on top of the hay, like so. Then I'll take another pumpkin and I'm going to place that pumpkin right up top. Then I'm going to go ahead and bring her in. So I'm going to have her, I think I'm going to bring her in so that she's sitting like that. I do want a leaf or two underneath where she's going to be. So I'll take a couple of leaves, add some glue, and just place them down just like that. Now I'm going to take her booty and add some glue. Then I'm going to plop her down just like that, and she is as cute as can be sitting there. And so now I'm going to take one more leaf, add some glue, plop that leaf right in there, and then I'll take my final pumpkin, add some glue to the base of that pumpkin, and we are going to sit that pumpkin. I'm going to put some glue here because I want it at an angle. So we're going to tuck that pumpkin right in there. And so now, y'all, we have another gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous little piece of home decor that we can sit out. I'm going to bring the other one back in and try to get them both into camera. Little difficult, but you can see this awesome goodness that we have here. Imagine these framing your front porch or framing your fireplace with some autumn garland woven in and out. That would be spectacular. And the beauty of this, we took a Dollar Tree board and cut it into what we wanted it to be and made these super awesome pieces of home decor furniture that we can set out. And you can see just how sweet that is. And I'm going to bring the other one back in again so that you can see what a statement these make side by side just here on camera. So just imagine the festive autumn statement these will make in your home. So now we're going to make this awesome centerpiece. And guys, look at the statement that this makes. This packs a punch, and it is so adorable, so full of autumn. And I am going to bring in another one that I made, and I'm bringing this one in just to show you guys what I mean when I say any season. Same process. I just used different colored papers, different flowers, and got a totally different look. Different, but gorgeous. I'm not a fan of the gory, really spooky, bloody side of Halloween. I like the fun, the whimsical, and that's what I went for when I was doing this. Again, this is a Dollar Tree centerpiece that I made for under $10. We are going to need a 6x9 piece of cardstock. We are going to need 3 pieces for the inside that measure 3x6, 2 pieces for the inside that measure 3x3, and then we'll have our outside piece, and we'll have 2 pieces that measure 3.5 by 3 and 1 piece that measures 3.5 by 6. And then I have a leaf bouquet that I got from the Dollar Tree, and then I have another one of those really fun little scarecrow people. And then I have a bow. So the first thing that we need is our 12x9 piece of cardstock, and we're going to score this at 3 on all 4 sides. And then we're going to fold and burnish all of our scores. And then all we're going to do is go up to the first score mark in all corners and drag straight down to free up our tabs. And then we'll do a very slight angle cut on each of our tabs. So once we have our tabs angled, we can go ahead and put our box together. So I am going to take my glue, place my glue on my tab, and then I'll bring this up, join it, use my big old spatula just to get everything nice and straight. And I will do this on all sides. You can use tape on this. I would not use a tape runner, because you really want the strength that you're going to get from a good double stick tape or a high quality glue. And as you guys know, I use reptile glue. And so now I'll do the same thing over here. So I am just going to take my glue, place it, and close this piece. Use my spatula, go on the inside, and then I'll place glue on this piece, and we'll get it stuck. And so you can see right here, I have just a little bit sticking up, and I am just going to take my scissors and just trim that off. And that's how easy it is to fix if you happen to have a little bit of overhang. So now what I am going to do is I am going to take my inside pieces, and I'm placing these down just for some added stability. I am going to take the inside pieces, do a test fit, and if they fit, then I am going to use my tape runner. Just place some tape. And I will use my tape runner on this piece because it's not carrying any weight. It'll be on the inside. So I'll take my piece, place it down on the inside, get that stuck, and I'll do this on all 4 sides of this sweet little box. So just make sure that you do a test fit first to make sure that it's going to fit. When you know that it's going to fit, then just slide it on the inside and get it stuck. Okay guys, so now I have a bottom piece that I want to place in, and I started with a piece that measures 6 by 3, but make sure you test fit it before you place it down. So I am just going to place this down using some double-sided tape from my tape runner, and I am going to get that stuck on the inside, and now we'll work on the outside. So to do the outside, we need 1 piece of 3.5 by 6 inch cardstock scored on the 3.5 inch side. We're going to score at 1/4 inch, and then we'll score at 3 1/4. And then we'll take our 2 3.5 by 3 inch pieces and do the same thing. So we'll place it in on the 3.5 inch side and score each one at 1/4 inch and at 3 1/4 inch. Then all I'm going to do is just fold each one of these just like this. And then I'm going to use my big old spatula just to get a rounding started. Nothing major, just to give my paper an opportunity to want to curve. So you can see I've got a slight curve in that. So now when I bring in this piece, I'm going to take this piece and place it down using the 1/4 inch piece as my guide for glue placement, top and bottom. So I'm placing glue on the 1/4 inch mark. Then I'll take it and I'm going to line this up with the top. So I'm going to bring that straight up, and I will use my fingers to just go along the top, get that dry. Then I'll take this piece and I'm just going to sort of bend it up until I have it even at the bottom. And because I already have my glue on it, I don't have to worry about adding any glue. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'll use my fingers to help that stick. And you can see by doing that, I have that roundness that we want. So now guys, we'll do the same thing on the side. So we're going to place our glue on that 1/4 inch flap. We'll take this, place it right here at the top. Use our finger just to get it nice and stuck. And then I can bend it up and we can stick that down right there. And this is just such an easy way to get a cute little piece for the holidays. So now you can see we've got that look. And then I'll do this side over here. And then we get to start decorating. Okay guys, so we have our sweet little vase all done. And we are going to go ahead and place our feet before we actually decorate. And this time I am going to place my feet with hot glue instead of my reptile glue because I want this to dry instantly. So I am going to place some hot glue on that foot, and I'll take it and place it right there. And I'll do the same thing over here. Place that foot right there. And then I'll place my two in the back. And adding these feet just adds to the cuteness. You don't have to put these feet on yours. You can use anything or nothing on the bottom. Totally up to you. So now we have our feet on, and already just by adding those feet, we kicked this up so many notches. So now we're going to fill it. And I am going to start with a scrap piece of styrofoam that I have, and I have cut it down just to fit right in the middle. And the way that I am going to ensure that it stays put is I am just going to drop in some glue, hot glue, take my styrofoam, and you're going to hear that styrofoam melting, but as the glue hardens, the styrofoam will stay in place. So I am just going to hold this for a moment and let it set up. All right, guys, so I have removed all of the leaves from my stem, and I am just going to start placing these all random like. And basically how I place them is really how I like the look. How you place them is going to totally be up to you. But I am just going to start placing leaves and just filling in this little vase with a whole bunch of leaf activity. And you can add all types of other greeneries if you want, but I am just going to stick with leaves because I really want that autumn look. So I am just putting these in just like that. Now before I put any more in, I'm going to go ahead and take my little scare person here and just place her in right there. So to do that, I am going to take my nips and nip off a piece of this branch, and then I'm going to take my paper piercer and just punch an opening so that I can put my little stick right there. And then I'll take just a little bit of my hot glue and seal that so that my stick won't come out. And then I can take it and just press that whole thing down. So then I placed her in like that. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to take just a little bit of glue on her as well and just kind of tuck that hat back a little bit because you really can't see the cuteness of her face. Then once I have her in, I am just going to keep filling in the inside of my little bouquet here until I have filled in with all of my greenery. And so now we have a sweet little scare person sitting out in a field of leaves. But I am going to add my sweet little bow right here to the front. So let me just place some glue on that. I am going to take this and just tuck it right there. And then I am going to come back and just nip away some of the length of that bow because I'm not too crazy about how long it is on this. So I'm just taking away a little bit of that. And already we have got such cuteness. So the final thing that I want to do is I want to put something inside that lets you know what it is I'm celebrating. So to do that, I am going to take this piece here, which resembles a nice little branch. I am going to add just a little bit of glue to both branches of this little stump here. And I am going to add Hello Fall to that. And then I'm going to hold it down until my Hello Fall sets up. And once it's set, I will take this piece. So I tucked it in right there. So now what I have is a very beautiful bouquet. Now I could come back and add something to the front of this, but I don't think it needs it because it's so full and so pretty. If you wanted to, you could come back and fill in with shredded paper or raffia, whatever you wanted to put on the inside. I don't think it needs it. But guys, under $10, we're able to make this awesome centerpiece or mantelpiece, desk piece, whatever piece you want it to be. We made it for under $10. And I am going to bring in the first one. And you can see all of this seasonal goodness in these two projects. So this is what we're able to do with our items that we can purchase at the discount store. We can take those discount items and build them up into something that looks like this. And when we're finished, it does not look like a discount item. So in this video, y'all, we made 3 awesome projects. We made 3 awesome pieces of home decor, starting with this gorgeous, gorgeous wreath. And the beauty of all of the projects that we made today, we made each one for under $10. So that means that we made all 3 of our projects for $30 or less total. Now, can you go into the store and buy 3 beautiful pieces of home decor for $30? I don't think so. So this wreath, absolutely gorgeous. Then we made this awesome piece of home decor in the shape of a chair or a bench, and we filled it with a bale of hay. We added our little scarecrow person, decked it out with some pumpkins. This looks like pumpkin picking all day long. So then finally we made this awesome centerpiece using some cardstock and a few items from the Dollar Tree, and this is what we end up with. It's absolutely fabulous. So guys, I hope this video has served as an inspiration for some of you, and I hope that you'll go out and try making one of these awesome projects, if not all of them. So I hope that you have liked this video. If you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys have a great day. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.